What's up, Glassy? I had a question. What do you think
Let's
about
hear
the
it.
hype about ApeCoin possibly moving to their own blockchain? And with you thinking about releasing on Solana and Ethereum, how comfortable do you feel with like the reliability of those blockchains?
I feel a little more comfortable about the reliability of Ethereum, if I had to be totally honest. But there is some great developers and some people that I spent a lot of time around that made me very, very bullish on Solana, right? Like we were testing and very open-minded to different blockchains for sure. But I don't think any of us, even the most bullish Solana person, could deny that it crashes sometimes, which is not right. That's not desirable. We don't want like that. It's kind of a black mark against the record, but also it's like it's new, it's growing, and there's so much energy and passion and also liquidity. It feels like it has like a great amount of the right ingredients to grow into a truly incredible, and it takes time. It takes time. Ethereum wasn't built in a year, you know?
Yeah, do
And
you
there was so
think
much
that
discussion around it. But as far as the two, I mean, it's kind of hard to compare in a certain way because there's just such a vast amount of track record and user experience advancement and different dApps that are available on Ethereum. It's like there's just such a wider community of developers and a longer track record of time of people being able to develop these things. So, but just the same, I think multi-chain or just interoperability as a whole is certainly something that we'll be seeing more and more. And I think at some point, the distinctions between this chain and that chain are not going to be so public facing. Again, these are just my own maybe, or some people might agree, but these are my own hypothesis. But I can imagine that just like we're talking so much about NFTs and the technology, that at some point that just fades more into the background too. And it's really more about the experiences that they empower and about the moments and transactions and communities and relationships ultimately that are being built and galvanized, and the prosperity that's able to be generated because of those relationships and the support that's given between a collector and an artist, or the support that's given between a project team and their community, or all these different pairs that you could make, that ultimately the economic layers that we're able to weave into the build process of creating these experiences, whether they be for little micro communities, whether they be for service providers, or whatever it might be, these groups of people working, is ultimately, I can imagine the blockchains that if some of them are especially good at certain things, they'll be used for that. If some have super fast transactions, or some are especially geared towards empowering metaverses or empowering gaming or those kind of things, that they'll be used for that, and that it will probably become more and more commonplace for platforms and projects that will interact with multiple blockchains based on the specific capacity, whether that be processing speed or cost or whatever it might be, or reliability or liquidity, that will be able to, like an organ, or like a body is made up of various organs, each of them with their own specialty, that I can imagine projects that are already coming out and certainly will be coming out in higher numbers will be interacting with multiple blockchains.